for this dish, we're going to use the fireball. It's a great piece of fire cooking equipment that you can set up in any place. It doesn't have to be this big, but it's a great shape, and I will show you exactly how we start the fire. So as before, we start with a base, and we want to keep as much air in between, so there's lots of oxygen coming through. So once that kindling is burning, you'll get a real nice flame. Now to get a fire going, you can use kindling, you can use old newspapers, you can use dried herbs, little twigs. Most importantly, it needs to be dry and easily flammable. Big logs take a little bit of time to get going. So when you have little pieces of wood, you can use pieces of bark, make them a bit smaller. They'll catch real nice, real easy, and you'll have the big logs going. And I usually build a fire from the heart, from the center of the pile. You don't have to start all the way in the bottom because the fire will make its way down. Give it some time. Use plenty of little woods. Once the fire is burning, we'll let it do its job. When I'm thinking fire cooking, I'm thinking steaks. I love steaks, but when they're roasted and grilled over an open fire, you add a whole nother dimension to it. I'm gonna show you two of my favorite steaks, the T-bone and the ribeye. Both steaks have a great fat content, which is something that we can really use when you're grilling out in the open. It will add a lot of flavor, it absorbs the smoke flavors, distributes it evenly, and make an absolutely stunning piece for on the table. Two steaks, methods of cooking are the same. We're gonna pair it with an absolute steak classic, the chimichurri. We've also melted some butter, which we're going to infuse with oregano, a little bit of garlic, but we can baste the meat with to make sure that it doesn't dry out and it crisps up real nicely. This is gonna be an absolute centerpiece on any table. When you carve through the meat, it's beautiful and pink on the inside, fire roasted on the outside. Hell yes, let's go for dinner. We're gonna start with seasoning our steaks. Some olive oil, coat it evenly on both sides. We do that so when we use the pepper and the salt, it sticks real nicely. I'll season them slightly in advance so it can all get into the meat. So once we throw it on, it's already on there. It will roast really beautifully, add a lot of flavor to the steak. We have beautifully crushed pepper, nicely, evenly distributed. I always make sure we season it evenly and with a lot of care. We don't want to get a lot of salt on one part and little on the other. It needs to be nice and even. And also the other side. You have this beautiful fat layer here that's gonna crisp up. And it's gonna provide so much flavor when it comes off. You carve through it with the knife, you pair it with this lovely refreshing chimichurri sauce. Mouth-wateringly delicious. Some more crushed pepper for the other side. And then these guys are ready to go on the grill. Now we're gonna really quickly and easily make this chimichurri sauce. There's two reasons why I love this sauce. One, it's really easy, and two, absolutely delicious. So we'll take a nice bunch of curly parsley. You can use flat leaf parsley as well, but the curly parsley is bouncy and provides a texture to the sauce that I find really triumphs the flat leaf parsley for this specific sauce. We're gonna wanna use some oregano. It's quite a punchy herb, so we don't wanna use too much. Chop it up nicely. Then we're gonna add a little bit of chopped garlic, nice and fine. You can use a garlic press as well, or a grater. I don't really mind, as long as you don't have too big lumps in there. I use pretty much only half a clove. Some recipes call for 4 or 5, but I find it overpowering myself. I like to stay on the gentle side when it comes to garlic. Once it is chopped, ready for the sauce, and a little bit of chili. Will give a kick, but also a beautiful color. If you don't like spice, you could leave them out. If you're a real spice fan, you can add some more. We'll just use 1 mid-sized chili pepper. It's gonna look absolutely beautiful in the sauce. And then our final ingredient, the shallot. We won't need too much, but cut nicely. Will give a really nice texture to the sauce. Now put them all together in a pan or a little bowl. Doesn't really matter. And we're gonna want to start with adding the oil. Now this will prevent the vinegar from turning your sauce really quickly dark. So we'll add the olive oil first, mix it around nicely, a little bit of salt. That's going to form a coating around the parsley. If the parsley is in contact with the vinegar, then it will turn brown right away. Because we started with the oil, add the vinegar afterwards, it will stay really nice and vibrant for the duration of your day. You can probably even keep it for the next day. Although I will say that this is a sauce that's really easy to make, it's great to do it on the day itself or last minute. Gonna add a dash of red wine vinegar, just to cut through the fattiness and also the fattiness of that steak. And we'll have this beautiful thick consistency. And because we use the curly parsley, the oil hangs beautifully around it and forms a perfect sauce. Then I've melted a little bit of butter, taken off just the fats, clarified butter to call it as well, and we're going to infuse this with just a clove of garlic, sprig of oregano, tiny bit of salt. Now once we're grilling the steak, we're going to add this butter to add a beautiful, rich and toasty aroma. Together with the fire, it will really caramelize the outside of the beef. Beautiful flavors, beautiful steaks. So we have this beautifully built fire here that has died down a little bit. We want to have a nice gentle heat on there because we want to make sure that it doesn't burn on the outside and that we do actually get to cook it to the inside. Now, half of the fireball is a grill rack, the other half is open. It means that we can manage our heat. And that is something that is really important when you're cooking this close to the fire. If it gets too hot up here, we can go to the edge or we can even move around the fire a little bit. Now we're going to start with the thickest one, that absolutely gorgeous T-bone steak. There's a great fat line here on the top side. That's going to provide a delicious flavor and also keep the steak nice and moist here on the fire. You can grill a lean steak as well, but I personally prefer a little bit of fat on there. It adds flavor and also prevents the steak from drying out. Now we're going to give the T-bone a little bit of time here. So then once we add the ribeye steaks, they're going to finish at about the same time. And then it's easy to finish off with a delicious chimichurri sauce. For the steak lovers, this will be the ultimate. Beautifully fire roasted steak out in the open. This is what I'm living for as a chef. Now it's really quite inviting when you're cooking over open fire to keep checking whether it is cooking all right. But I would always try to leave the meat for quite a while until you get a real nice caramelization. You don't want to mess around too much and keep turning it over and over. You want to have a real nice sear on the first side, confident sear on the other, and then we cook it on the side nicely until the middle, a beautiful medium rare. That's what we're after. Now that T-bone is already going nicely. We're going to add our ribeye steaks. They're going to cook beautifully together. As you can see, the grill marks are stunning. We're going to give it a turn. We can manage the heat by moving the logs around. They're often hottest at the bottom. You can see here, want to crack the heat up, we'll turn it over. In no time provide some flames and get the grilling going real nicely. A couple of beautiful flames. You can hear the crisping of that nice fat that is rendering down, and that is just about the way I like it. And look at that absolutely beautiful caramelization. Nice crisp fat layer. A stunning steak. Real pleasure. I'm gonna use some of our garlic and oregano infused butter. Give it a nice brush. You'll see how it shines. Full of flavor. Our steak still need a little bit more cooking on the first side, because that is really what we're looking for. A beautiful caramelization, a nice grill mark, tons of flavor. I think these ribeyes are just right. Look at that nice browning we have there. Also here we're gonna add a bit more of our lovely butter. Prevents it from drying out. Gives a real beautiful flavor. We're trying to find the hot spots for the heat, which is here right in the middle. This steak was a little bit on the edge of the fire. We want to move it to the middle, where I can get that really nice roasting. And now these fire roasted beauties are nearly done. I don't mind it a little bit rare, so we're gonna aim for a nice medium rare to the rare side. Really take advantage of all those beautiful grill flavors, that lovely fat that is already part of the steaks, and then all together with the sauce, make an absolutely stunning, stunning dish. Look at these guys, perfectly roasted. Now they're gonna need a little bit of a rest. About 10 to 12 minutes. Really give them the time for the heat to crawl up onto the inside. Have them nice and tender before we carve them and finish them with the sauce. So our steaks have rested beautifully. I left them here for about 12, 13 minutes even. Really cool them down, take the tension away. So once we carve into them now, none of the juices will flow out. And we'll have this beautifully succulent steak ready for the plating. So first of all, we're gonna cut our T-bone steak. It's such a gorgeous cut. And we're gonna have to find the bone right here in the middle. Cut alongside it. You wanna follow that all the way to the side. Just cut a little bit over the bone. And there we go. Beautifully cut. The fillet part on the other side. Cut it off as well. That is absolutely stunning. So nicely cooked. Fire roasted on the outside. Cut it into nice tranches. The fat is all crispy. When you carve through it, you can hear it. And you will definitely taste it. This, the first part that can go on our plate, where we are presenting our dish. I love a good wooden board for presentation, especially when we're coming to the outdoors. Just feels natural and exactly right. Perfectly cooked, beautiful, nice, medium rare to medium. And we're also going to carve our ribeye steaks. This will be a feast. I'm gonna open it nicely. You see that beautiful pink in the middle. Got beautifully carved steaks. Gonna finish that with some nice crunchy sea salt. I love to use fleur de sel. You can use molden or other types of quite coarse but refined salt. And to finish it off, our beautiful chimichurri sauce. Pairs so beautifully with this nicely cooked steak. Put loads on top, serve the rest on the side.